So this is just going to be a simpler video, and I wanted to talk about that fresh meat game idea that I mentioned in the last video. So like I said before, it's a world of intelligent animals, but there's a meat prohibition. So all of the carnivores, all of the predator animals are basically just forced to eat plants and stuff like that. But what happens when you make someone do something, when the government makes someone do something, they revolt against it. So there's all kinds of cartels pop up where people are, or animals I should say, are being abducted off the side of the street and like kidnapped and then butchered and turned into food for all the more like powerful predators with like money. And there's like underground speakeasies, as they were called in the 1920s with the alcohol prohibition. It's got kind of like, the whole game's got kind of like a noir feel. So yeah, and urban gangs and stuff. Each of these cartel bosses basically has to run two different things. They have to run their own restaurant, and they have to run all the collection of the meat. And that could generally include hiring taxi drivers to kidnap their passengers and take them to some place where they're cut up and into all the different parts, and then eventually they're taken to the restaurant where they're cooked and served to the VIP guests. So the gameplay or the game loop would be sort of like, first you start out as just like a lower level character. You have to go find a job, and then that job could either be in the restaurant or actually going and collecting meat, which is a lot riskier, but probably a lot funner too. I don't know. I'll probably try to make most tasks like an equal amount of enjoyment, I guess, if it's possible. So once you have a job and you do like a couple shifts, and eventually you make enough money that you can maybe buy your own restaurant, or you just work up the hierarchy at the restaurant you're already working at. And then you can start hiring your own employees to do the things you were doing, and eventually the point of the game is just to build an empire, kidnapping meat, and actually there is a few other ways you can get meat. So one of the ones I thought of was hijacking hearses that are like taking dead bodies to their grave or their funeral, and then you hijack the body and take it somewhere else, or like stealing bodies from morgues or like hospitals or something like that. I also thought it would be hilarious for animals to all have a meat donor card. So like if you die in the hospital, you get donated to like some starving carnivore, but that's like kind of the only legal way to eat meat in this world. So the playstyle would be kind of like Overcooked and Animal Crossing. It's just like top down with little unproportional characters just kind of like waddling around doing all the things they have to do. But then that's like the restaurant part, and there's also parts where you have to drive around, probably like police chases and stuff while you're kidnapping animals and stuff. And there'd also be like combat, like just like 1920s guns and stuff like that. Some funny things I thought of pretty long time ago for this game. Your restaurant could maybe have a discount for undercover cops. So whenever an undercover cop goes to your restaurant to try to find anything suspicious, they get like a discount. But that anyone that falls for that would be stupid, and then they're like, oh, I want this discount for being an undercover cop. And then they find you and, I don't know, probably kill you or just like kidnap you or something. Another one is there could be vultures working at the morgue, and vultures are like scavenger animals. So maybe you could catch them eating the bodies in the morgue, and then you could blackmail them into giving you bodies. Another thing I thought of like forever ago is hiding things in base cases. So there's like that joke where you never look in a base case because there's nothing valuable in it. And I think it actually was a thing in like the 1920s and stuff, where people would hide stuff in instrument cases. And I thought making it specifically a base case, like you just hide literally like anything you want in a base case and no one will ever look in it. So that could be funny. I have a lot of ideas for how the NPCs could work. it would have a really dynamic hierarchy. So at one point in the game, you could be like the lowest level, and then through like impressing different managers or whatever, you could move up. And then also your employees would try to impress you, and everything is based on trust. Or trust and money. So if a character trusts you and you're paying them enough, then they'll do whatever you want. But if they don't trust you, then you could probably pay them even more than you would have otherwise, and they might still do what you want. But if they don't trust you and you're not paying them enough, then they won't do what you want. And trust would probably be, I'm not super sure how trust would be determined with the player, because that can't just be based on a number. Like the computer would have to, or the game would have to observe different things the player does to determine how much different characters can trust them. I think that's about it for this brain dump, as I'm calling it. This is definitely a much messier video that I'm probably not going to edit like at all. But yeah, I hope you guys like this idea. Let me know if you have any interesting ideas, or I don't know, maybe if this is a total copy of some other game I don't know about. That would be nice to know. If you haven't already and you like this video, I'd appreciate it if you turned on that notification bell and subscribed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.